All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to explore a really fascinating lecture from 1987 that's all about the nature of the mind. Now, it was originally about these big ideas like history and time, but the speaker took a fascinating turn, saying, hey, before we can grasp the universe, we have to start a whole lot closer to home. So let's start right there with that core idea. This quote just nails the whole theme. It's this idea that, true understanding, it doesn't come from looking way out there into the abstract. It starts right here, with us, with what's right under our own 2 feet. The thinking here is that you can study all the great figures in history, you can learn all the grand theories, but if you haven't built your own solid foundation, well, that knowledge won't really take you anywhere. The journey has to kick off by looking inward, by finding your own clarity. Only then can you really start to expand your view to the world around you. And this all boils down to what the lecture calls the pursuit of a righteous mind. This is the absolute core of the philosophy, the idea that establishing your own mind is step one for everything else. But that kind of begs a pretty fundamental question. If our job is to work on our minds, right, where is it exactly? We all just sort of assume it's in our head, right? In our brain. But this lecture just completely flips that assumption on its head and suggests something, well, something totally different. Okay, so buckle up because this is where things get really, really interesting. The lecture puts forward this radical idea that the brain and the mind are two separate things, and our consciousness, it's located somewhere that might actually surprise you. So the lecture draws this really clear line in the sand. The brain, think of it like the control tower or a computer. It's just the hardware that processes stuff. But the mind is the operator. It's the pilot. It's the core of your soul, your true self. And according to this, it's located right around your chest. And to build on that even more, the idea is that our soul is actually the same size as our physical body. And right there, at the very center of that soul, is the mind, pictured as this kind of ball-like object. And the proof for this? Well, the idea is that a person's personality, their consciousness, it keeps going, even after the physical body is gone, which suggests it was never tied to the brain to begin with. And this is where the whole thing just blows wide open. From that central point, the lecture maps out what happens to our consciousness after we leave the physical world. It's all about this journey upwards through different dimensions. And with each new level, the way the soul sees and understands reality completely transforms. So this slide gives us a great roadmap of that journey. You can see the ascent from the 4th and 5th dimensions all the way up to the 9th. It's like a ladder of consciousness. So let's break this down step by step. So right after leaving the physical world, in these first couple of dimensions, the soul is still clinging to its old identity. It feels weird, unsettling, not to have arms and legs. A lot of spirits here are still trying to go through the motions of their earthly life, like eating or sleeping, because they're still wired by their old physical habits. Now, the 6th dimension, this is a huge turning point. This is where spirits finally start to get it, that the physical body isn't who they really are. They shed that old way of thinking and start practicing something absolutely incredible, creating things with just the power of their thoughts. This is a big deal because it hints at a universal law we'll come back to. Our thoughts are actually creative. And get this, the lecture literally describes it like a training ground. You might start small, concentrating to create a simple glass of water. Then you move on to more complex stuff, like designing beautiful clothes. And eventually you realize you can even change your own form and size just by thinking it. This is also the stage where spirits can start helping people back on Earth, acting as guides. So then you get to the 7th dimension, which is called the Bodhisattva realm. Here, the whole game changes. It's all about service. Spirits become so completely absorbed in acts of love and helping others that they start to lose that attachment to a physical form entirely. They're just working as pure consciousness. And that leads us to the 8th dimension, the Tathagata realm. Here, consciousness takes another massive leap. You stop being just a person with a name and a history. You start to function as a universal principle. You don't just feel love. You are love. You are order. You embody a cosmic law. And the big aha moment here is this idea that one is many and many is one. What does that mean? It means one single consciousness can operate as millions of beings at the same time, working in countless places at once. The whole idea of a single, separate you just dissolves. And at the very top, we have the 9th dimension. Here, a spirit goes beyond even being a role. They become a source of pure energy. The lecture uses this amazing metaphor of a spiritual dam, just a vast, powerful reservoir of a divine quality that all the lower dimensions can draw from. Okay, so after that wild journey all the way to the edge of the cosmos, the lecture brings us right back down to Earth, back to what's right under our feet. It takes all of that cosmic knowledge and distills it into two practical principles, two things we can actually do to manage our own minds, right here and right now. So, this whole massive cosmic picture, it really boils down to two key ideas for our everyday lives. So, principle number one is all about balance. The lecturer wants us to picture our mind like a ball, made up of different parts: our emotions, our willpower, our intellect, our reason. And the practice is just to check in with yourself every day. You have to ask, is my emotion side bulging out today? Am I being all logic and no heart? The whole point is to keep that ball smooth and perfectly round. All right, the second principle is a bit more hands-on. It's about the energy we create with our thoughts, and more importantly, the blockages we can accidentally create for ourselves. This is such a powerful metaphor. The idea is that all those negative thoughts, complaints, anger, jealousy, they're not just harmless little things that disappear. They actually build up, and they create this cloud or a roof right over our minds. And that roof you just built, it literally blocks the spiritual light and guidance that's trying to get through. And here's the kicker, but it's actually the most empowering part. Because you created this roof of suffering with your own thoughts, you're the only one who can tear it down. The lecture is crystal clear on this. No one can do it for you. It all comes down to personal responsibility and making a conscious effort. So what this all comes down to is a message of incredible personal power. We are the architects of our own inner world. The quality of our thoughts literally determines if we're living under a dark, heavy roof we built ourselves, or if we're living under a clear, open sky, ready to receive all the light there is. So I'll leave you with this question to carry with you. Based on all of this, take a good, honest look inside. If your thoughts really are the building blocks of your reality, what does your sky look like today?